New tonight since 6, a woman is dead after a crash in the Tyler Park neighborhood. Hello everyone, I'm Alex Dieterer. LMPD says they responded to the crash just before 7:30 this evening. Police say a Jeep and pickup truck collided at the intersection of Tyler Park Drive and Baxter Avenue. LMPD says the driver of the Jeep was taken to the hospital. Police say upon further investigation, the woman had an, quote, unknown penetrating wound not associated with the crash and was pronounced dead at the hospital. LMPD's homicide unit is now handling the investigation. Anyone with information is encouraged to call the anonymous tip line at 574 LMPD. Right now, violent crime in Louisville is trending down, but just last night, a Louisville teenager was robbed at gunpoint. WHAS11 night teams Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Aspen Hester were in the neighborhood today where the robbery happened, hearing from neighbors on if they feel safer as the crime numbers trend down.
You know, things like that don't happen very often around here.
The evening after a terrifying moment for a 15-year-old boy here in the area of Stanford Plaza Drive and Beeler Way. He told officers he was robbed and shot in the hand Tuesday night. Then he ran home and called police. The Louisville Police Department reports the teenager suffered a graze wound and went to the hospital for treatment.
It surprises me. It's disappointing.
According to LMPD, non-fatal shootings are down compared to this time last year, this being the 67th this year compared to the 93rd this time last year.
We always want to strive to improve and make sure that those numbers continue to be a reflection of the hard work of the men and women of LMPD.
And when Chief Paul Humphrey was asked about youth violence,
that is very, very concerning to us when teenagers are involved in violent crime, both as victims and as suspects.
While there's no indication of who the suspect is believed to be, Chief Humphrey says the solution to youth violence isn't solely on police.
We have officers out here every day who are willing to step in and try to save people's lives. We need the help of the community to open your mouth, step up, and be part of helping these young people.
There are a lot of homes in the area. There's a church nearby and a lot of places to eat and shop. It's pretty busy here, but people tell me that they still feel safe when they're out and about.
My general sense, because we've been here since 2011, is that this is a fairly safe place to live.
This incident hasn't changed the opinion of the area.
It's something that happens. It doesn't really matter where you are.
In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 night team on your side.
Taking a look at Louisville's crime map of the area, there have been at least 7 thefts reported within the last month. Most of them are centered around apartment buildings on the other side of Preston Highway. Today, Mayor Craig Greenberg revealed a new plan to prevent violent crime in the city. He breaks it down into 3 pillars: prevention, intervention, and enforcement. City leaders say this is key to keeping the peace, which starts with early education for all kids and boarding up vacant homes. The initiative also tackles known gangs and works to retain officers by raising pay.
One of the biggest things that is new is just the level of coordination. Some of the initiatives with respect to ensuring that judges have information that we think that they need so that they can make good decisions when it comes to handing down, dealing with justice issues. That is also a new component of this plan as well.
The crime plan also creates a community safety commission. Mayor Greenberg says they'll receive progress reports on the plan, and the Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods is also being renamed to the Office of Violence Prevention, and that includes new leadership. New tonight, one of the people accused in the death of 8-month-old Maya Rudd appeared in court today. Maya's body was found last June in a duffel bag hidden within the walls of her family home in Reynolds Station. 8 people in total were charged, including her grandfather, Ricky Smith, who appeared in court today. Smith, along with Maya's parents, Tesla Tucker and Cage Rudd, are facing murder charges, as well as multiple counts of criminal child abuse. Smith was given his next court date today, which will be June 17th. Maya's cause of death was undetermined, but according to State Medical Examiner's Office, meth was found in her system. Tonight, we have new information on a deadly shooting in New Albany. Police now have 19-year-old Andres Bautista in custody. He's accused of shooting and killing his older brother, Antonio, after an argument and wounding a 70-year-old woman bystander who happened to be walking her dog at the time. New Albany police say the shooting happened just after 8 last night on Wolf Trace. That's just off Grant Line Road and Daisy Lane. Chief Todd Bailey said the bystander was taken to U of L Hospital for treatment, and officers are still working on a motive for the shooting. New here tonight, a CDC report released this week is showing an increase in autism diagnoses in the U.S. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. calls it an epidemic, blaming factors like mold and obesity as potential factors to the rise. Medical experts are seeing the increase come from better awareness and screenings. Today, I spoke with a local Louisville nonprofit who works with families on their autism journey about what we're seeing right here at home.
You don't grow out of autism.
Autism diagnoses continue to increase in the U.S.
Autism does not discriminate.
A new report from the CDC estimates 1 in 31 children under 8 were diagnosed with autism in 2022. That's compared to 1 in 36 in 2020.
We need that research. It is key. Due to the need and the uptick in cases, the need for programming and expanded programming to offer that more.
Melanie West is the executive director of Families for Effective Autism Treatment of Louisville, or FEAT, which was founded in 1999.
FEAT was started by a group of families just trying to find answers to their children's complex medical needs. A lot of our families, they've been with us since the beginning, since the diagnosis.
West says there have been more local evaluations and providers over the years.
This is a preventable disease. We know it's an environmental exposure.
Medical experts say the increase in autism diagnoses is largely due to better awareness and greater access to screenings.
My brother, he's on the spectrum.
Layla Lee Randolph's 9-year-old brother KJ and their family have been a part of FEAT for years. Now she's on the other side, working for FEAT and continuing their mission.
But it could be very difficult to live in a society where your brain's not necessarily built to function in that society. And places like FEAT really make it so that we can create those safe spaces for people with autism so that they don't have to feel stigmatized going out places.
Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. called the rise in autism epidemic, saying his department will be focusing on research on the origins of autism.
I think to really understand anything, we have to get to the root cause at first.
RFK Jr. says he'll begin his research into the cause and exposure of autism in September. New here tonight, a federal judge is considering contempt proceedings in the case of mistaken deportee Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The judge says the administration has done nothing to comply with Supreme Court's order to facilitate his return from El Salvador. Justice Department lawyers say the administration is prepared to facilitate his return if he presents at a port of entry. They argue they cannot compel El Salvador to release him. The White House insists Abrego Garcia, who entered the U.S. illegally in 2011, is a gang member.
And if he ever ends up back in the United States, he would immediately be deported again. Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the United States of America again.
A judge has already ruled there's no credible evidence to the White House claims. Today, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen is traveling to El Salvador to meet directly with officials there and press for Abrego Garcia's release. South Louisville JCPS board members are expressing concern over the timeline to hire a new superintendent. Dr. Marty Polio is set to retire on July 1st, and we learned today that there are 34 applicants in the search for the new superintendent. Republicans in the state legislature are watching closely. During this year's legislative session, lawmakers filed bills that would have had direct impacts on JCPS. One was to allow incorporated cities to form their own school districts. Another was to pave the way for Kentucky's Department of Education to take over individual underperforming schools. Neither passed. Kentucky Senate President Robert Stivers says the next JCPS superintendent and their performance will play a big role in lawmakers' future actions.
How much of a leash would they be given before some of those bills maybe become law?
Not long, because I think it's well known and been well documented the problems that are here in JCPS.
JCPS Board Chair Corey Scholl tells us they'll get candidate information this Friday and will narrow down the list to 5 next week. They're planning on interviewing finalists next month, hoping to find polio's replacement by early June. And we're learning it could take 2 to 3 weeks to find a solution after mudslides affected the Prospect homes by Harrods Creek. A Louisville emergency official said Tony and Cheryl Buckley's home is unsafe to live in because the saturated ground around the home caused parts of their backyard to break off into Harrods Creek. Tony told us 6 to 8 feet of their land has crumbled.
It's definitely getting to me now. I mean, I don't. Just the extent of what it would take to fix it. I mean, everybody's watching it, trying to determine how much more everything's going to move. It's pretty unnerving.
The Buckleys have lived in their home for 20 years, and since it hasn't been condemned, they're choosing to stay. The mudslides have impacted 1,200 Metro Louisville businesses and homes. Governor Andy Beshear has asked President Donald Trump to declare the floods a major disaster in Kentucky to tap into more financial assistance from FEMA.